This time last year, we only knew about 5 video games confirmed to be coming out from Nintendo on the Switch in 2023. Those comprised 4 games in the first 5 months and an unidentified Pikmin release. We had all sorts of chatter back then about nothing of importance hitting the Switch after the May release of The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Now that we've made it through 2023, we now know those concerns were absolute malarkey. Beyond those 5 confirmed for 2023 games, we had around 10 more come out throughout the year. We had the shadow drops of Metroid Prime Remastered, Pikmin 1 and 2, and F-Zero 99. We had the surprise Mario games in Super Mario Bros. Wonder and Super Mario RPG. We had a new WarioWare, the long-awaited Detective Pikachu sequel, and a 1-2 Switch sequel that no one asked for. It was by most accounts a really solid year for Nintendo and will likely be the waning days of the Switch. And now we're in 2024, looking ahead to a year that has similar unknowns. Much like 2023, we only know about 5 games that are publicly confirmed to come out in 2024. 3 of them have release dates. One of them is out. Another, Code Recollection, came out in January. Mario vs. Donkey Kong is coming out in February, and Princess Peach Showtime is in March. Luigi's Mansion 2 HD and Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door are currently slated for release sometime this year, likely in the spring and summer respectively, if I had any guess at the situation. Beyond that, we have a lot of unknowns and some DLC, like in the form of Splatoon 3's expansion that's coming out later in February. Metroid Prime 4 is still a specter hanging out ominously in the background. Maybe this year, who knows? It is noticeable that of the 5 games known for 2024, 4 of them are ports and remakes, with Princess Peach's latest adventure being the only wholly brand new game. Also, we're about to enter the Switch's 8th year. This is frankly just an unprecedented territory for Nintendo. But this year might be different because Nintendo might have a new console launch. So let's dig into some past precedents to see if we can use those to define what we might expect from 2024 and when throughout the year. So, for the Switch, we first officially found out about the system in October 2016. It's almost 8 years ago. Damn. 5 months before the system came out. We got the official rollout of launch date and details in January 2017, less than 2 months before. As far as the official reveal of the system, the Switch was a wildly quick turnaround. The 3DS was known for 9 months before launch. The Wii U was officially known for nearly 18 months before it debuted. But in both cases, the rollout of launch date and details was similar to the Switch, with the Wii U and 3DS getting their launch lineups confirmed about 2 months prior to launch. Using that, we can reasonably assume that Nintendo will give us a launch date and lineup about 2 months before a Switch's successor's release. They've been remarkably consistent about that for the past 20 years. I won't quite call it a guarantee, but I would be surprised if that doesn't hold true. But when will Nintendo officially acknowledge the existence of a new platform? I'd personally say as early as February, mere days, or possibly even as you're watching this, as that's when Nintendo is next scheduled to address shareholders during their earnings release for the 3rd quarter of this current fiscal year. Though more realistically, we might not hear about anything until the spring or even summer. From there, it depends when this new platform comes out, as frankly, Nintendo can pattern the release similarly to the Switch. Using that as the guideline, let's paint some potential reveal timelines. Here's what I'd say is the most likely. Nintendo formally announces the new console in June 2024, following that up with an exact release date and details in September, in line for a November launch. Of course, there's also the pessimistic view of something almost directly mapping to the Switch's playbook. Maybe the new console doesn't get the full reveal until October, lining up for a January 2025 launch date confirmation and a March 2025 release. It worked for the Switch, why not do it again? There's also a more aggressive and, dare I say, exciting option. Nintendo could formally announce this sucker in April, leading to a summer launch date details drop in a September or October launch. I'd favor that slightly more, or at least more than I think I would in the past, because Nintendo has been favoring putting out their marquee games earlier in the holidays than ever before. Nintendo's biggest holiday title of 2023 came out in October in the form of Super Mario Wonder. You could even argue Tears of the Kingdom was Nintendo's biggest 2023 holiday title. That was released months before the holiday season. In 2022, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet were November releases, but the Pokemon Company sometimes marches to the beat of their own drum. Purely from Nintendo, though, Splatoon 3 was the biggest holiday title, and that hit in September. 2021 was a similar story, with Pokemon's Diamond and Pearl remakes taking the previously prime November period, while Mario Party Superstars and Metroid Dread were both released in October, even if you could claim maybe Mario Party and Metroid aren't that major of releases. At this point, it feels like October has taken over November for the highest concentration of marquee games even beyond Nintendo. As Sony and Microsoft are releasing their major holiday games in September and October, even your Ubisofts and your EAs are putting out their biggest games in October instead. Call of Duty and Pokemon seem like the only two mainstays that hit consistently in November, and Call of Duty has had the occasional October release. The PS5 and Xbox Series SX, however you say that, both came out in November in 2020, but 2020 is also a unicorn year, and I'm not sure how much we can divine from peak COVID entertainment launches. To summarize, Nintendo's 2024 will be fine, likely dominated by remakes and ports before we get closer to a new, exciting, thrilling console launch. We'll still definitely have more games on Switch to look forward to, even if some of them might be cross-gen. Beyond that, we should probably find out about the next system by the summer, and also there's probably like a new Pokemon game coming out in November. That just seems to happen every year unless there's DLC, and we just had DLC a few months ago. So here's to a new year of Nintendo games. We're gonna find out a lot more very soon. Maybe we'll see a Nintendo Direct in like February, another one around like June, then one in September. Worked last year, worked for the Switch kind of historically. Kind of expect them to keep going with what works until it stops working. Thanks for listening.
This video was made possible by our generous supporters on Patreon. Did you know that Nintendo World Report is funded directly by fans like you? When you support Nintendo World Report on Patreon, you get immediate access to multiple exclusive podcasts every month, exclusive Discord channels, an early look at select content, and more, all for as little as $1 a month. Check out patreon.com/NWR for all the details.